We're here with Andrea Romano at New York Comic Con. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're really glad to have you. And you are so amazing at your job. How the heck did you get Peter Weller to play Batman?
We offered it to him. You know, he's so smart that he looked at the script. Actually, I say that. He knew the material already. He was familiar with the source material. And I didn't even know what a fan he was of Batman and this world. And so oftentimes a lot of actors of that caliber want to do this work, but they're just not available. They're too busy. And Peter, we had to really work around his schedule, but he really wanted to do it. And so it worked out beautifully. And I have to say, as much as I always want Kevin Conroy to play Batman, because Kevin Conroy is Batman for me, this was a beautiful job. Peter is a wonderful actor, and he did a beautiful job with it.
So why go with Peter Weller in the first place?
We needed a voice that had a lot of years of living in it. Not to say Kevin Conroy doesn't have that, but Peter's voice has a timbre to it and a gravel to it and a texture. And when we meet Bruce Wayne in the beginning of this piece, he's been drinking for years. He's given up hope. He's got this really kind of negative attitude toward everything, and Peter was able to just latch onto that so easily and bring that kind of sense, that world-weary sense. And you know, Gotham is a perfect example of what's happened in his world, and it's fallen apart, it's garbage, it's a horrible place, and that's kind of how Bruce Wayne feels about Batman. It's just fallen away, it's garbage, it's no good anymore. And then there's this resurgence of a reason to go on, and I thought that was something that he really encompassed beautifully.
Now, I mean, you obviously familiarize with the source material first, and then to get sort of an idea of who should I cast for this. But are you there through the process as well? I mean, are you in the studio with the actors?
Oh, I direct the voices. I direct all the voices. So yeah, there's a bunch of us that get together to discuss the casting, and we'll put together a list of say 7 or 8 actors for every major role, and then we'll decide who will work well with each other, because you may have a terrific actor for Batman, and then the person you had for Joker, well, they're not going to work together very well. Their voices aren't good or whatever together. So it's a large group of people. I don't cast in a vacuum, and Meredith Lane works with me as a casting director on this, and I couldn't do these projects without her. I wouldn't want to do these projects without her. But the thing is that sometimes people jump at the opportunity, and sometimes other people say, I want to wait for a big fat Disney feature before I do a voiceover for animation. So I was very grateful that Peter was of the mind of, this is great material. It's a beautiful script by Bob Goodman. It's beautifully animated by Jay Oliva, and Bruce Timm as a producer. It was just a dream team of people to work with, people I'd worked with for years, all of them. And so the kind of the new kids on the block are the voice talent. So we get them all together, and then I record. It probably took me 2 months to get the entire thing recorded, because actors availability and because we did both parts. This piece exists in 2 parts. We did both parts at the same time. So when I brought Peter Weller in, we recorded both parts 1 and part 2, and that's a long recording session. And then they come back 6-8 months later and do all the fight walla, which is a long, hard recording session, because as you watch the piece, have you seen it yet? So you saw how many punches are thrown, and how many times somebody gets hit in the gut, or somebody gets stabbed, or somebody gets a battering in the eye, or whatever. It's a very violent piece, and every one of those things, excuse me, needs a sound. So if it's a throwing a punch, or a getting hit, you may not even hear it really clearly audibly because of the sound effects and the music, but it's all layered in there, and so even if you don't hear it specifically, it colors the scene. And so it's a tremendous amount of work for everybody, and thank goodness everybody was game for it.
Sounds like such an exciting job. So if you had to pick one thing about your job that you absolutely love and that you're grateful for, what would it be?
It's the actual recording the actors. I love actors. I love their process. I love what they do. I love their creativity. When I prep a script, I call it homeworking a script, I hear the dialogue in my head, and I hear what I think it should sound like. And then an actor will surprise me and come up with a completely different interpretation of a line. And it's my job to step away enough from my prep and say, that works, and it's organic, and it's real. And that's why you hire actors and not technicians to do voices. You want that input. You want what the actor is feeling, and you want their input. And so that's my pleasure. That's my favorite part of my job. And you're absolutely right. I do have the best job in the world. I'm very grateful for it. Thank you.
Andrea, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Have a great show.
Thank you.